Horror games are spooky, scary, nail-biting, and occasionally quite goofy.
Stop it! Don't open that door!
They may not be for everyone, and a majority of them are hit or miss, but when a horror game slaps, it slaps hard. Out of Sight, a newly released title, was the latest horror game that did this for me. The newest game from developers The Gang, who have the biggest what the hell is going on logo of all time, is described as the very first second-person game. How, I hear you ask? Well, in Out of Sight, you play as two characters. Sophie, a sweet blind girl who has spot-on child voice acting. Like seriously, this might be the best I've ever heard in a game.
How can you see for me, Teddy?
Hey, that's pretty good.
And Teddy, her, teddy bear. Wow, really creative with the names here, guys. Due to some sort of black magic, Sophie can see through the eyes of Teddy and must carry him to avoid walking into a wall. You, as the player, will always be looking through Teddy's eyes as you navigate this creepy mansion that you're trapped in. Along the way, you'll run away from some Tim Burton rejects, encounter spooky dead ghost children, and solve a lot of puzzles. In order to solve these puzzles, you must find these pink blankets scattered throughout the levels to set Teddy down. And it's here where the second person mechanic comes into play. You control Sophie with the left stick and have her climb things, push things, and crawl through things. On the other hand, Teddy is controlled with the right stick, and you can use him to look around to see where Sophie needs to go. So you gotta use both characters to solve the puzzles, reunite them with each other, and move on to the next section. Now you may be looking at this thinking, oh no, this looks way too complicated for me. It took me ages to get to grips with tank controls and fix camera angles, now I gotta figure this shit out? And to be fair, at first, I also felt like that. But after spending about 10 minutes with the game's controls, it's quite easy to get the hang of and honestly really unique. Never have I seen a game try something similar to this. It's different enough to provide you with an experience unlike any other game that has come before it, and make solving puzzles both engaging and enjoyable. Speaking of the puzzles, they do something extremely rare. They actually provide a challenge. Puzzles in horror games to me aren't the most difficult. They either involve you finding a key to a locked door, read a pattern and figure out the sequence, or this puzzle from Resident Evil 4. Like, come on, really? Whilst Out of Sight's puzzles do have some of these sprinkled throughout for good measure, a lot of them do the exact opposite and let players experiment with the game's mechanics. Each one will provide you with the basics, such as the aforementioned pink blankets and interactable objects that are marked with... oh no. The yellow paint is infested, this game too? Is nowhere safe? But besides from that, it won't give you any hints on how to solve them. Sophie never opens her mouth and says stuff like,
"Oh, what if you pulled this big lever in the room? That'll probably do something." You fucking idiot.
The game just shuts up and lets you experiment until you figure it out. This approach of giving players the freedom to try out everything they can think of is honestly incredibly refreshing, and provides them with some hard obstacles that can have them stumped for a long time. The best example I can give is in this room here. When I first encountered this puzzle, I noticed three things straight away. A box to move, a plank of wood, and this red lever. I pushed the box over to a table to climb on top of it, push the wooden plank, but it gets stuck on the red lever. I then proceeded to run around like a madman trying everything I could think of to move on. I tried restarting from a checkpoint multiple times, tried to get onto the other side of the plank, and tried to jump to the other side, but nothing worked. I felt like I was going absolutely crazy, but when I finally did crack the Da Vinci Code, I felt a wave of satisfaction come over me that I haven't felt since I found a £5 note on the floor.
Oh, fucking nice.
And you know what? The good stuff doesn't stop there. The story is also quite intriguing too. Like I said at the beginning, you play as a young blind girl called Sophie who can see through the eyes of her teddy bear. Sophie is trapped in a scary mansion by the freakishly tall mother Jana and Clayton, her husband? Servant? The relationship is never made quite clear. Sophie and Teddy try and escape the mansion through an open window, but the game only started 10 minutes ago, so they're banished to the lower levels and have to find their way back up. But along the way, there are various ghost children that appear throughout the halls, echoes of those who have come before, potentially sharing the same grisly fate that awaits Sophie. So it's up to you to get Sophie and Teddy out of the house whilst learning more about the shady practices that are going on inside this desolate place. Now from my short little synopsis, I bet you have a lot of questions, such as what do they want with Sophie? How can she see through the Teddy's eyes? What's up with the ghost children? Well, get ready to have only a fraction of your questions answered. Only a number of plot threads get resolved throughout the game, and by the time the credits roll, you are left with around 75% of your questions unanswered. As someone who loves storylines with intriguing mysteries, it frustrates me to no end when writers take notes from J.J. Abrams and his bullshit mystery box style of storytelling.
I bought this decades ago, and I'm not kidding. If you look at this, you'll see it's never been opened. But I've had this forever.
I'm gonna burn that mystery box to the ground the same way you did to Star Wars, you fuck! However, there are a lot of things to like about the story. When you learn more about the characters, especially one of the villains, it adds a lot of depth to them, and what is revealed is honestly quite heartbreaking and relatable. I will also give it points for not exposition dumping, and instead have characters give us information through dialogue that doesn't feel so egregious with its delivery. It's just... I wish it had a more satisfying resolution. I get the feeling it's setting it up for a sequel or a DLC, but does that make me feel better about the ending? No. Look, disappointing story aside, what Out of Sight does with its gameplay is enough to warrant its price. You will get a brand new, unique horror experience that is unlike any that has come before. When I reviewed this on SmashJump.com, which you should totally check out by the way, we do some cool stuff over there. Here's a quick clip. I didn't expect to gel with it, and write it off as another typical horror experience. But there's been something about it that has just clicked with me. I've been thinking about this game quite a bit since I put down my controller, and in my eyes, if a game can do that, then there is definitely something special about it. Putting this on the Gamer-Pinion rating scale, Out of Sight gets a recommend. I really like this game, and I hope that my little, however long this video is, rant has persuaded you to at least give this game a try. In a world where games are getting more and more expensive every day, it pays to support a small group of passionate developers who have made something truly unique, and that definitely should not go unnoticed. And because I suck at outros, I'm just going to plagiarize my own review on SmashJump.com, so here goes. Grab your teddy, don't make a sound, and most of all, good luck.